Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're coming from here in the United States. Thank you for being with us for day 4 of the Women's Empowerment Summit. My name is John Terry. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Vision Advisors, and I want to say thank you for tuning in today. And for those of you that have been with us all week, thank you for participating and being a part of this summit all week long. I have very much appreciated those of you that have been emailing or texting or sending information back to our office, letting us know how much you have appreciated the speakers that have spoken, the passion by which they've shared their story, the transparency and what we've seen up to this point of women that have come through some very challenging circumstances, oftentimes to be able to overcome difficulties, overcome a situation or a circumstance that seemed to be beyond their control. But they found a way to take control of themselves, take control of their destiny, and make a difference. Today's going to be no different. I am very honored as our very first speaker today to introduce someone that I have grown to love and appreciate over the years as I've had an opportunity to be involved at different times with their organization, and that's Miss Lynda Pitts. Let me give you some information about Miss Lynda as we get started. Passionate about safety and the security of the American public, Lynda Pitts, following a personal tragedy, was compelled to use her knowledge and her expertise in the insurance industry to launch Legacy Marketing Group. Legacy's unique philosophy drives value-added, leading-edge proprietary products for a national network of more than 20,000 insurance producers. And in the past 20 years, several 100,000 clients have been served, generating over $20 billion in premiums. Legacy is known for many industry firsts and exclusives that really emphasize fairness and full disclosure, reflecting a fact of an everyone wins philosophy. Miss Lynda resides in Northern Nevada with her husband, Preston, where she enjoys hiking, swimming, cooking, and reading. Lynda's heart's desire since a young girl was to learn to play the piano. And in the last 5 weeks, she's begun to pursue that dream in learning to play the piano. I also know that living close to Lake Tahoe, you occasionally sneak down to take a swim in the lake, and you've got some of the most beautiful scenery in the world to go hiking in, which is something I know you and your husband, Preston, love to do. So, Miss Lynda, thank you for being here. Thank you for participating with us all week long and carving time out of your busy schedule to be with us. So looking forward to having you share your story with our audience today. And I'm going to stop talking and let you have the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, John. It's really been an honor to listen to the dynamic speakers this week that have gone before me. And I want to thank you, John, for asking me to participate in it. As you all in this summit, as you all know, John is a great leader, and he is just always an inspiration because he's consistently pushing forward and always learning new things and adding value to everyone's life that he knows. So thank you, John, and thank you, the other speakers. So basically, I started in the insurance industry over 35 years ago, like many of you as personal producers with a captive company and then just learning the business through the years. I won't go into all my history and experience there, but I would just like to start my story by, in 1992, my husband and business partner of 22 years was killed unexpectedly in a skydiving accident. And wow, I certainly never dreamed in a million years that something like that would happen to me at that age. I was completely lost, hurt, angry, confused. It was really an extremely challenging time in my life. I had 2 children, age 12 and 22. I was owner in an insurance company that was currently in receivership. I was overwhelmed, to say the least. I remember that night throwing myself across the bed and just crying out, God, if there is a God, if you are real, I need you, because I have no idea what I'm going to do or how I'm going to survive. And that's a completely other story, but my spiritual journey, it took me 5 years to find my way to Jesus, but we won't go into that today. It's an incredible story too of his faithfulness. But I'm blessed, incredibly blessed to be a beneficiary because my husband believed passionately in the work that we were in this industry. He owned life insurance, personal and business. And the personal insurance allowed me to keep my home, send my kids to college, to not worry about how I was going to feed them. It was really an incredible blessing. And on the business side, I was able to have the money to form a business plan and go forward. And that was incredibly amazing. So I just want to say also, thank you so much to you producers who every day meet with the public and show them the power and the necessity of the products that we sell in this industry, from life insurance to long-term care to annuities, that there's really no other industry in this nation that provides the safety and the security to the American public. And you all are out there on the front lines, meeting with the public, helping them understand the importance of being prepared when unexpected things happen in their life, whether it be death, disability, retirement when it's time for that. So I just applaud you and I thank you. I thank you for Catherine on Monday had a great, she shared with us her vision of helping 1 million people become financially literate. That is an admirable goal, and just thank you for that. And just the other statistic that she shared that was kind of staggering, and we may know it, but to hear it again is, that 60% of the American people can't survive any kind of a unexpected expense over $1,000. So people need you to help them, to guide them, to educate them. And I know education is a huge part of what many of you do, and that is just critical. So thank you. I admire you and I support you in every way possible. Thank you. Back to what happened to me when I was just completely on my face. Let's see, I think it was Megan who talked about control, attitude and control. So, what was my attitude? I mean, I already shared that I was lost, hurt, angry, but beyond that, what was I going to do? Was I going to get out of bed every morning, or was I going to crawl under the covers and say, I'm done? No, I said, I am alive. And as long as I'm alive, with the grace of God, I'm going to survive. So I attempted to have an extremely positive attitude, praying all the time. And what I did with my girls is we set up a flip chart in the kitchen and we set our goals and in the morning, and we recorded them at the end of the day. And it may sound silly, but these small steps were extremely important in our healing process. It was goals like exercise, what food we were going to eat, what we were doing mentally, emotionally to deal with our grief and our hurt and our confusion. So those small steps and that attitude helped ground us to continue to move forward. So I would just encourage you all, if you're in the midst of a difficult situation, just take those baby steps, because they will all add up. And I do believe that God is faithful to meet us where we are and help pull us out of the muck and the mire and get us to where He wants us to go. Obviously, we can't control things that happen in our life. We also can't control other people's attitudes. And, Megan talked about that as well, but we can control our attitudes, and we can control the areas that we have control of. So I agree with her when she said, never, 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 never give up. Because we don't know what is next around the corner and how God is going to help us out of the situation that we're in. The other thing that I experienced, and probably many of you have as well, when tragedy happens, the people around you, or the people that might want to be around you, it brings out the best in people, and it brings out the worst in people. So it was important for me to have discernment. And sometimes, you may have heard this, fear. What's the definition of fear? Well, fear can be false evidence of appearing real. So sometimes people can come around you who don't always have the best intention, although they may think they have your best interest at heart. So you need discernment to, pay it. So I didn't have godly discernment at that time that I thought, but I had intuition, and I had common sense. So I would get a sense of who I should allow into my safe space, and who was really there to help me, and who might really be there to hurt me. So anyway, that was something that I learned during that time. And then what I did on the business side is, I already mentioned, so my husband and I had a very successful insurance company. It was a small one. And what happened is we had sold too much premium too fast. And we were under receivership, which is kind of similar to a reorganization or to a bankruptcy. So that had just happened 2 months before my husband was killed. I was overwhelmed, to say the least. He was the charismatic leader. He was the creative genius. He was the front guy. Now, I was always involved in the business and in the background, and I had relationships with many thousands of producers who trusted me. But I went, oh my golly, what am I going to do now? So I went into a conference room, again with my flip chart, and drew a line down the center, the old Ben Franklin T-chart, and had a minus on everything that we had lost, and had a plus on everything that we still had. So we had lost our charismatic leader. We had lost a lot. But on the plus side, I had an incredible organization. People surrounded me who were extremely gifted, knowledgeable. We had producers who were very loyal. We had product designs that were extremely good for the public and the producer. We had administrative capabilities. Anyway, long story short, God gave me a vision for a business plan. And I started calling, what I call dialing for dollars, like we used to do for consumers. But in this dialing for dollars, I was calling CEOs of life insurance companies to attempt to get an appointment to show them how my organization could be value added to theirs. So again, back to the never give up, never give up, never give up, and do it again and again and again and again. And of course, actually, my first husband used to say, the more no's I get, hooray, because that means I'm that much closer to a yes. So I was able to secure a relationship with a very, very, very large A-rated insurance company who could see the value that Legacy could bring to them, that we could bring a turnkey organization to them And all they had to do was put their name on the paper. So that was how I actually launched Legacy back in 1994. So as John mentioned, our passion is really to create unique products that provide significant value to the consumer. And we've been able to do that through these years. We've been able to help over 700,000 clients achieve safety and security as part of their financial plan. We've been able to help thousands of producers and hundreds of wholesalers build their businesses through the unique products that we offer. So my goal and my passion is still to just help other people achieve their goals and dreams, and to be of service in whatever area that the Lord is calling me to be of service in. I believe with every fiber of my body that I've been blessed to be a blessing, and I rely on God to direct how He wants me to be that blessing. So, you know what, John? My golly, I don't think I have anything else to say. That's the abbreviated version of Lynda Pitts and the Legacy story.
I got you. Well, Lynda, thank you. And I did have several follow-up questions I wanted to do with you. Thinking back and going back to 1992, when your husband experienced that skydiving accident that left you a widow with some small children, what were some of the fears as a mom that you were dealing with that maybe the women in the room can relate with, or they're dealing with clients that maybe they've lost a husband unexpectedly? What were some of the emotions, and what were some of the things that were going on in your own life that were part of the process of trying to work through this loss?
Right. Well, it was just, when you are two and you're raising children, it's a team. So how am I alone, a single young woman, going to be able to navigate these waters? So I think it was, I was really broken, and I was filled with lots of fear. And I really didn't know how to navigate the way. But another important thing for me was to call on resources. So I was introduced to a woman at the hospice organization who provided grief counseling, and which the hospice organization is just an incredible organization for those of you who know of it, for end of life care, for grief counseling, for a multitude of things. And as the Lord would have it, the grief counselor that I worked with was a woman who about 8 years before had walked the same path that I did. She was a young widow. She was in the insurance business. She had children. And so using your resources that God brings into your life to help you through navigate the waters was an enormous blessing to me.
Sure. Now, thinking into the children that you had, because you had two girls at the time, and what were the emotions that they were dealing with, and what added strain did that place on you as a mom to have to deal with two girls that had lost their dad?
Oh my golly, how much time do we have? It actually wasn't until a few years later that I realized or understood the depth of the emotions that they were dealing with. But they were dealing, of course, not only with loss and confusion and sadness, but one of the daughters even experienced guilt. And so they're tremendous emotions that children go through that we don't really completely understand. So I would say, if you're dealing with a client who has children, who's lost a parent, just definitely get to the right professional help and pray, because they really need coaching and counseling and help to navigate again those waters. They also participated in some of the grief sessions with their peers. So getting to even peers for children, I think, can be incredibly valuable.
Sure. Now, you mentioned fear and you mentioned guilt. Did anger ever come into play with you or your daughters in that process? And how did you manage that particular emotion as it rose?
Well, for me, anger, I was really mad at my husband because what? We have this company, it's in receivership, and you leave? I was angry at him. Actually, I've been a runner all my life until the last few years when I've been hiking, but I ran 5 miles every day. So, and I, used to do half marathons, and, so I was a runner. So I physically is how I would handle my emotion of anger and stress and fear and all of those things. The girls, some unhealthy ways of handling their anger, and then just some, so I really can't speak to exactly how they handled their anger and their sadness, but
Sure.
it was challenging, to say the least.
So Lynda, what guidance would you give the producers that are listening to us today, and then we'll be listening to the video replay that couldn't be here live, as they're dealing with women that were where you were in 1992? If you could look back and give advice back, what would that advice be?
I think that advice would be really what I've already said, is be open to seeking out the people that God brings into your life that truly can help you. So whether it be a hospice grief counselor, whether it be another Christian counselor or a counselor, whether it be friends, confidants who truly have your best interest at heart. I think being open to letting them love you. I guess another major shift in me was I was always the one in control of everything. I was always the highly organized, just everything on the dot, control. And I really didn't let a lot of people into my space. And during this time, I, for the first time in my life, let people help me. So I let people drive me when I couldn't drive myself. I mean, it sounds silly but it's practical. And when you're in that space of such grief and pain and desperation, I think to allow yourself to be loved by the people around you that truly love you and want to help you. Surrender your own control. Issues, if you have them.
Sure. Lynda, thinking back to what you and your husband were doing before he was tragically killed, can you share a little bit more about the type of insurance business that you two were doing together and how that prepared you for what you're doing today? And it looks like Lynda has frozen up. We'll give her just a minute to come back to us. Ladies, while we're waiting on Miss Lynda to come back online, are there any questions that you would like to bring or pose to Miss Lynda as we get her back on board with us? Anybody there that you would like to ask a question, jump in the chat box and let us know if there's a specific question that you would like to hear from Miss Lynda as she comes back into what we're doing, and we've got an opportunity to continue this conversation. So Miss Lynda, you're muted. If you can unmute your microphone.
Thank you.
Very good.
I don't know
So,
what happened.
yeah, well, I guess your internet froze up. But anyway, Lynda, what I was asking was, what specifically were you and your husband doing in the agency that y'all had together before he was tragically killed? And how did that prepare you for what you're doing today?
Oh, okay. That's a great question. Well, I mentioned I started as a personal producer. So for 10 years, we built an independent agency in downtown San Francisco that gave me a broad perspective and knowledge of products. Most of our business, we are very active in the legal community with law firms. So we handled a lot of group insurance benefits. We handled a lot of their clients' life and annuity and, all their clients' needs. And it was out of that individual producer experience that we gained some attitudes and desires to get into product development, to develop products for consumers that really had their best interest in heart. Not that the ones that we were selling didn't, but that we saw opportunity for some additional product development ideas that could help. So through a series of events, we ended up selling an agency that we owned and being a minor or like a 40% owner of a major life insurance company. And it was during that time that I was responsible for all the back of the house functions, commissions, new business, policy owner service, agency contracting, all of those functions. So being an executive in an insurance company like that gave me tremendous knowledge and experience, which then prepared us to go out and own our own life insurance company. And then when I restarted, when I formed Legacy, I really did not want to own a life insurance company or run a major life insurance company. I just wanted to take the pieces of the puzzle that I felt we were best at and package those to partner with an insurance company. But I think what the experience in the background has really helped is that because I have knowledge and understand the disciplines inside an insurance company, it affords us a unique ability to form the partnerships with the insurance companies that we partner with, because we understand where they're coming from. And then from the personal experience writing business, we understand where the agent and the IMO is coming from. So having that, both of those experiences, I think, give us a unique knowledge and a unique credibility with both audiences.
Well, the fact that you've had an opportunity to play in so many different spaces in the industry, it's given you a lot of insight and wisdom into what works and what doesn't work. How does failure play into creating what you now have today in terms of what Legacy does as a unique product design company?
That's a great question also. And I agree with, I don't know if it was Monica or maybe two or three of the speakers said, fail forward fast. I absolutely subscribe to that philosophy. Do not be, and I know, John, that's one of yours. Do not be afraid to try out of the box things. Do not be afraid to try really. Just don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid of failure, because by failing, you do learn what will work, what won't work. I think the biggest challenge that we've had to learn, that I've had to learn and help lead, is, okay, if it's a dog, let it go. I mean, fail fast is the key. Fail forward fast. Don't just keep hope against hope. If all the data, if it's not working, it's okay. Tweak, adjust, move on. So I think failure is something that that all of you producers out there, that all of you women that are building your businesses, don't be afraid to fail. And if you haven't tried social media and you're thinking of using, some of the great speakers that we heard, and you're afraid of it, it's okay. You can have a little fear, but just do it. And if it fails, so what? I mean, the benefits of the success might be a whole lot greater than the failure.
Absolutely. I was looking through this morning. I kind of do what Susie talked about yesterday. The first part of my day is I go through and kind of look through my social media feeds to see what's going on with people that I'm following or that are following me. And I noticed one young lady that is in the financial services industry, she'd put a quote up and it says, "Today, I will take imperfect action to do something to serve my clients rather than waiting on perfection to come and me not taking action."
Wow.
And I reached out and I commented on her and congratulated her on doing that. And she mentioned the fact that she had gotten a copy of my book on Black Belt leadership. And she reminded me, she says, "Now the K in your book is kinetic, and that means taking action." And,
Right.
and I thought that was interesting, but you're talking about taking action even if you're afraid. And it's okay to be afraid
Right.
and not let that hold you back.
Right.
But how many of us think that we've got to have it perfect before we go do something? Was Legacy perfect when you started it?
Absolutely not. Is it perfect today? Absolutely not. But that doesn't stop you from pressing on.
Sure.
Right.
Now, for the ladies that are on the call today that may not know what Legacy does, Legacy creates unique insurance products in the fixed indexed annuity space that are underwritten by major insurance carriers. What made you choose to go in the annuity space over life insurance or long-term care or some other space? Why did you go annuity, and what challenges have you experienced? And then I've got a couple questions coming in through the chat, and we'll jump into those next. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the very, very beginning, one of the major reasons of choosing the annuity space was speed to market, was lack of, I mean, we're going back, 25 years ago. The insurance company that I partnered with in the very first, they had a financial need to deploy capital, and they needed annuity sales. They virtually had none. And we could get to market quickly and provide them the strategic response they needed for them. So, and then of course, it was very early on. I mean, 25 years ago, annuities were still more unheard of than they are today. And they're a great, great asset class for the American public to understand because of the guarantees, of that principle, the safety, the security. And so just the passion to help people build their retirements with safety and security and not have all of their money in the market. There's just a huge, huge place for this space. And still, even today, as you can see by the numbers, the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are flowing into this.
Yeah.
So
looking at the evolution of the annuity space over the last 20 to 25 years, one of the questions that came from the audience is, what goes into the thought process when Legacy is trying to determine what product do you bring to the marketplace? And then how do you find the appropriate carrier partner to work with you in that endeavor?
That's an excellent question. So a lot of market research, let me try to give you an example. For example, long-term health care is a much needed financial product for the consumer, correct?
That is correct.
But number one, there are very few carriers in the business, and but there's this huge need, and it's also a very expensive product for the consumer. So it's sometimes out of the reach of many people who really need it. So knowing a need in the public would drive a thought process. How can we solve that need for the public in a creative way? Is there a way to do that? So, so for example, some of our annuities have, and you'll know the terms better than me, John, home health care benefits or income doublers on them that would provide some of these much needed benefits, but they're only going to, the consumer's only going to receive the benefits when they need it and if they need it. And if they don't need it, then they're not going to end up paying for something they didn't need. So that is kind of an example of looking at what the consumer might need and then how can we help fill it. So this is as far as how do we find the carrier that needs that will do this product. And that's again a little bit of the art and the science is we have to know really intimately the attitudes of those insurance carriers, what risks they're willing to take, what risks they're not willing to take, just kind of how that internal leadership of the life insurance company works. What's their tolerance for different types of risks? So depending on the product we design, then we have to assess just their appetites based on what we know from having all of our different strategic meetings with them. And then we would take them the product that we think has the best chance of getting underwritten by that carrier.
Sure.
Does that answer the question, or is that too much information?
Yeah. Now, one of the things that was an industry first that Legacy brought to the marketplace was check writing privileges on an annuity. And that was something unique that you guys did in the marketplace. What was the impetus for that, and where did that idea come from? And I know it's been accepted and adopted by a number of folks. What brought that to play?
What brought that to play was me. When I was a personal producer and writing lots of life insurance business, back in the day, what you would have to do if your client wanted to access his cash value, say make a policy loan, or withdraw some money from their annuity. If they had to make a withdrawal back in the day, you would have to call the insurance company, get a specific approved form, get them to fill it out, send it back to the company, and then you would get your money. Well, that could take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. Well, when people need their money, they need their money. And I personally just was offended by that. I thought it was extremely disrespectful of an insurance company that had my money, and it took me that long to get access to my money. So so we had a little challenge getting a company to understand that. But one of the companies that we had a relationship along the way was Bradford Trust out of New York. And we were in business with one of the companies that insurance company they owned. And when I approached them and said, I just don't understand why this cannot happen, they said, of course it can happen. So they partnered with me in that company to facilitate the issuing of a checkbook every time we issued a policy to a client. And statistically, the clients did not access their money any more than they did when they didn't have the checkbook. But it was security. It was peace of mind. It was a gesture that says, I respect you. So that's been a huge philosophy of ours, all along the way, is what can we do that shows the consumer and the producer that we value them uniquely, that we respect them. So yes, that's how that came to be.
I got you. One of the things I've admired about Legacy as a company is it's always forward thinking, and it's always looking at how the needs of the consumer has shifted and how you as an organization and the products that you design can add value to the end user customer. But at the same time, how you can also support the independent agent and give them a quality product that's a little bit different than what they may see with the off-the-shelf products of most of the carriers. And that's really been your sweet spot. One of the questions I've got posted is, Miss Lynda, do you have any ideas or any thoughts about creating a women's focused type of product due to what we're seeing out there with a number of women today going into retirement or losing a spouse and ending up with only Social Security because of the failure to plan? Are there any thoughts that Legacy's got of considering a women's focused type of product?
I have to tell you, I have not thought about that. But I also have to tell you that this week, just having the opportunity to listen to all the great speakers that you've had and just think more about this, maybe. I mean, it's definitely, there is a true, I mean, I've always been passionate about women needing to be more educated and to have more product, but for some reason I've never done anything with that personally. But I'm just thrilled that Megan and Monica and Lori and are all passionate about this topic. So I don't know, we'll see what comes out of this out of this special week that we've had.
Yeah, it's been interesting as we've looked at the speakers that we've had up to this point. And then when Patricia Allen shares tomorrow, phenomenal story of coming off of welfare and becoming a wealth advisor. That is one of the most powerful voices that we have an opportunity to hear today. Pat's going to be phenomenal tomorrow. But yeah, looking at the needs of women, listening to Lori with creating this innovative idea of a women's wealth club to educate women on financial matters. I know I was talking to my mom last night, and I was sharing with her what we've been hearing and learning on the summit. And my mom, who's now 81 years of age, she said, understand this. She says, growing up, your dad was the head of the house. She said, he was the head. I said, yeah, I understand. She said, but always remember, I was the neck that turned the head. And she says, growing up, there were far too many financial advisors that walked in the house that paid attention to your dad, that ignored the other important person in the room whose financial affairs mattered just as much as your dad's. And the fact that you're talking to women that understand that and can speak to that. She said, John, if I could see you, I'd hug you and I'd pat you on the back. And I have to give kudos to our ladies in the office that came up with this great idea. And Cathy, who's going to be speaking in the second hour, shared this concept of putting together this women's summit with us. So I'm going to give a shout out to her for really creating the idea and the topic of be a woman making history. And Lynda, you've done that. I mean, you've really had an opportunity as a CEO in a male-dominated industry to break that glass ceiling. What's it been like for you as a woman dealing in an industry that's been predominantly male-focused up until recently? And looking back, can you point to maybe some areas along the way that you said, yeah, we're doing good? Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story. So when I first started Legacy, so I was talking about all these people who wanted to come around and help me. So many of the, and I am not a man basher. I love men, but many of the men that were in around my organization, when they knew the business plan that I was presenting and what my goals were, and to really launch this company, many of them said, well, Lynda, let me go to that company with you and meet with that CEO, because you know what? I don't mean to be offensive, but the truth is, you're a woman. You're just really not going to ever be able to get this done. And I would smile and say, thank you so much. But I think I'll just try it anyway. So at one point, about maybe 10 years after having 2 or 3 carriers under our belt and writing a few billion of premium, one of our major wholesalers stood up at a small group and he said, you know what? I just want to say one hell of a job for a woman. And then he goes, correction. I just want to say one hell of a job. And I still just have, like Lori, I love to laugh. It gave me just the biggest chuckle. I think that I think with the women that are listening to this and the women that you have speaking probably have an attitude like I did, that it is real. There was discrimination. It is real, but you just don't pay any attention to it. You just focus on your goal. You focus on what you can control. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, man or woman are attracted to results and performance, right?
Absolutely.
So if you have the knowledge and you can do the job and you perform, it it makes a level playing field.
Right. Exactly. Well, Lynda, we're about to wrap up with our time, but I did want to
Okay.
bring up one other quick question for you, because after the death of your husband, your first husband, a few years later, you had another amazing man come into your life, and he now partners with you in running Legacy Marketing Group. And I want to give you just a minute to brag on your fella, Mr. Preston, who's just another amazing guy, very supportive of the women in our industry, and goes out of his way to do that. So, love just for you to just share a few minutes about your relationship now with Preston and how you two work together to lead this amazing company you have.
Yeah. Well, and he also, like you, John, he works in a female dominated
Yes,
office.
he does.
So,
Yes, he does. Yeah.
I had a
Been there
wholesaler
several times. Absolutely. Yeah.
ask me one time, why is it, Lynda, that you have so many women leading and working in your company? And I said, I don't know. I just hire the best and they just turn out to be the women. Anyway, but Preston is an amazing man. He's a CPA by background, worked in the financial services industry, lead executive of an insurance company. And so just tremendous technical knowledge and expertise and experience in this industry. And really it was, looking back. So I just really believe it was God's divine intervention that we met. He was introduced to me by a law firm, an insurance department, and an actuarial firm that I was working with. He was referred to me as I needed somebody to help me build financial models. And so we met and developed a business relationship and worked together for probably 5 years. And we're really aligned in integrity and desire to serve. And so we had a lot in common. And then, I don't know, a couple of years after that, we fell in love and got married. So I was single for 7 years, and then Preston came into my life and joined the company. I had hired him, so he ended up helping build Legacy, back in the day, for sure. Built the finance department, built lots of different, and now he really leads the operations and does really most of the heavy lifting.
Sure.
But he's just a delight, and it's been a blessing beyond blessing. So thank you for letting me brag on him.
Absolutely. Sure. Well, you've done an amazing job, as you said, of putting together a women's focused organization. And you've got some amazing women working in Legacy Marketing Group. Is there anybody in particular that you would want to give a shout out to, just to say thank you? Or maybe it's all of them.
It would have to be all of them. It would have to be all of them, because there are over 30 of them. So it'd be way too many to, but we have a motto that says team. What's the definition of team? Together, everyone accomplishes more. And that is really something we live, eat, and breathe. But I would like to give a shout out to your team of dynamic, incredible women, Melissa and Melissa. From time to time, I still do write an occasional policy, and I always use them. And they're incredible. They're incredible. They're knowledgeable. They're positive. They're amazing, amazing women that you have on your team there, John. So that's who I'd like to give a shout out to, in addition to all the Legacy women.
Absolutely.
And also all the women. I mean, the biggest shout out is the women, the producers, you who are listening, who are out there serving the public, it is not an easy job, but it is important. It's critically important, and it's exhilarating. And I just thank you so much for your dedication. So thank you.
Excellent. One final question, Lynda, and then we'll let everybody take a quick break. If you could look back as a personal producer and you could give some instruction to your younger self that would allow you to scale faster or grow your business faster, what would that guidance be?
Oh, that you asked that question yesterday.
I did. Yeah.
It's
You
a
knew it
good
was
question.
coming.
I didn't anticipate it. That was a good one. I would say, well, back then it would have been hard to do that. But I would say really just to, and I think, I can't remember who it was that said it, but I agree with her, pursue, I think it was Megan, right? Who got asked the question. She didn't know the answer because she was just doing what she was told.
Right. Yeah.
was
That was
really,
Megan. Yeah.
yeah, really pursue knowledge for yourself. Really, I mean, seek out the mentors and the people that are really the experts. And don't be afraid to say that you don't know everything. Don't be afraid to be in process. Just be that continual learner of expertise and continual learner of new trends and new ideas. So openness and continual learning.
Awesome. Well, Miss Lynda, thank you so much for taking time to be with us all this week. Thank you for sharing from your heart, sharing a very personal story, and how you had an opportunity to turn what was literally a tragedy in your life into a triumph and ultimately create that legacy. We all talk about success. Success in our life is momentary. We all have moments of success, but significance is when we can have something that has a life of its own and can continue to shape and change lives after we're gone. And what you've done with Legacy Marketing Group is really that. You've created a legacy that decades after you are no longer here and I'm gone, this is a company and an organization that's going to continue to make a difference in the lives of men and women by providing those innovative financial solutions that help them have a better outcome in life. So as a result of that, I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for being on our summit. And ladies, if you'd like to jump in the chat and just send some love to Miss Lynda, that would be absolutely awesome. Lynda one says, thank you for your sharing. Your strength, your determination is admired, and you are such an inspiration to women.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
God
Ladies,
bless you.
thank you for joining us for the first hour. We're going to take a quick 6-minute break, give you an opportunity to get something to drink, run the restroom, check email, return phone calls, whatever it is you need to do. Be back here straight up at the top of the hour. We're going to be introducing Miss Cathy Gumbiner with Hall of Fame Financial. You're going to have an opportunity to learn from her how to liven up your LinkedIn and to utilize this amazing social media tool to help you get in front of your ideal target prospect customer that you're looking to engage. This is something you won't want to miss. And if you know of another female financial advisor that needs to hear this, send them the link, get them on the video call so they can learn this lesson as well. Miss Lynda, thank you. We're going to take a quick break and we will be back at the top of the hour.
Thanks, John.
Well, ladies, we're about a minute from starting back with the second hour. So we'll give everybody just a few moments to find their way back into the room, and then we're going to be getting ready to get started. Miss Cathy is in the house, and she is loaded and ready to go hunt some bear. I know what's going on up in her neck of the woods. Absolutely. Well, ladies, thanks for joining me for the second hour of day 4 of our Women's Empowerment Summit, Be a Woman Making History. You're going to have an opportunity in this hour to hear from a woman who herself is making history and really was one of the driving forces behind putting this summit together. So, Cathy, I've got to say thank you first off for sharing this creative idea with our team and giving us an opportunity to run with it and make a difference in the lives of a number of amazing ladies that we've had an opportunity to hear from, but also to interact with in emails and chats and other things that we've got going on. So brilliant idea. Thank you. And to the other ladies on our team here at Vision for helping cultivate this and bring it together and twisting my arm to have an opportunity to be the MC for this week.
Yeah.
I told my wife we were doing a women's summit, and she says, well, who's emceeing it? And I said, well, I am. And she said, well, why isn't a lady emceeing it? And I thought I was going to be put on the couch for the week, but she said, well, I guess you live in a house of girls. It's okay. You know what we think. And so I appreciate getting my wife's thumbs up. But for those of you that don't know Miss Cathy, let me introduce you to her formally. And then we'll let Cathy crank up with her presentation. And I know you're going to get something out of this, because if you're looking to get in front of your ideal target customer prospect, Cathy's going to talk about some very innovative ways to do that today. So Cathy Gumbiner started in the insurance industry in 1999. Wow, you must have been young. What were you, a teenager back then?
I was 5.
5 years old. There we go.
Yes.
Learning from some of the industry greats at Prudential, Life USA, Allianz, and Thrivent Financial, Cathy was able to have the opportunity to talk to literally thousands of clients and agents, as well as several marketing organizations across the country. As a licensed and certified CE instructor, she conducted hundreds of seminars, webinars, and workshops on topics surrounding financial literacy. Cathy's experience has equipped her with all of the necessary skills to align the appropriate opportunities, products, and education for each person's retirement game plan. Her passion for sports, especially Minnesota Vikings football, whoop, 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 and learning about the physical and financial problems of retired athletes was what brought the idea of Hall of Fame Financial to light. Cathy actually works with retired professional athletes in helping them find a second career in the financial services industry. Her many connections with advisors and insurance carriers, as well as athletes and celebrities, help bring connections to support the mission of creating educational tools and partnerships that enable people to live out their lives in their homes longer and without outliving their income. Cathy's an empty nester living in Chanhassen, I hope I said that right, Minnesota.
Chanhassen.
Chanhassen, and has raised 3 amazing sons, Keaton, Austin, and Mason, one of whom is currently serving in our U.S. military and recently deployed overseas and is serving our country with dignity and distinction. So, Cathy, thank you for being a service mom. Thank you for raising up 3 incredible boys. Thank you for what you're doing for our retired athletes that are looking to find a way to have a next career, and many of them that leave the industry having had others squander their money, giving them an opportunity to learn how to do it right this time and to go back and to help other athletes not make that same mistake with their money. So, Cathy, thanks for being with us. I'm going to turn this video off and let you have at it.
All right. It's the Cathy Show. My favorite. Just kidding. John, thank you so much, because, okay, yes, I had this idea, but you know what? Like Lynda just said, together, everyone accomplishes more. So it took a team to get this together, some great women speakers. Lynda, I adore you. You know that. I've had the opportunity to meet Lynda on more than one occasion. And the inspiration that all of you women are providing has just been amazing. And it's exciting. And I'll tell you a little bit about my background before I go into the presentation part of it. But back in when I got licensed back in 99, you know what? I got mad because I didn't know what I should have, but I had life insurance because I knew I needed it. But when I learned about it and I learned that my policies that I'd bought, there was a lot more to them. And I found out that the agent that sold me those policies could have educated me. I had 3 boys, right? So I had 2 pregnancies where I was on bed rest. Money was tight. I didn't know I had cash value. So I'm learning all these things going, are you kidding me? Like Lynda said, like Lynda did, having a check. If I could have written a check to help me, I had to get rid of my horses for a while. I couldn't afford paying board. I couldn't do all this stuff, but I was sitting on all this cash value. I had no idea. And that's when I knew that, what the educational aspect of what we do is so important. And another thing, when I was working at a home office for a very large carrier you've all heard of, I traveled all over the country and I would have agents in the room, and I would be so lucky to see maybe 1 or 2 women in there, and it drove me crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, we need more women in this industry. And I love when I see women in this industry because I just feel because I've felt the, oh, you're a woman. Let me talk to somebody that really knows what they're talking about. I've had that happen. Um, I love that we can be out there making a difference. So thank you again for the time, everybody. Monica, you know me, I'm a big connector. I think that you and Lynda should connect in the Lake Tahoe area and go hiking together. Just wanted to throw that out there. But connecting is one of my strengths. And I'm going to go on here. I'm going to turn off my video so you'll get to see me looking, dressed up. 1 second there. Whoops. All right. I'm going to share screen. So one of the things I want to say to you is, where are you finding your clients these days? Let me see here. I need to share screen. There we go. There we go. I hope everybody can see me. So where are you finding your clients these days? I mean, when we look back, seminars was the big deal. Everybody was doing seminars. Let's talk Social Security. And I mean, that's how Hall of Fame Financial started. We were doing seminars and it was called Defend Your Retirement. And, you can't be an armchair quarterback when it comes to retirement, all kinds of fun things. But, the world changed in 2020, especially. But you know what? Social media, Facebook, all of that. I mean, we've really looked around and tried to utilize all these different aspects and finding the best way to do it to get in front of our clients. If you haven't looked at LinkedIn, ladies, you're missing out. Let me give you a few stats on that. There's over 700 million professionals on LinkedIn. Now, I know that their goal is to have 3 billion members. And when you think about that, think of everybody on there as a consumer. Now, we want to hone in and, look at people in our area. And we all have our target market of people that we want to work with. And if you're working with annuities, I mean, you're looking at the retirees. There's so many great things, but having a presence and being somebody that people look at as somebody they want to connect with, somebody they can talk to, that's really the key. Of the 700 million plus, there's like 40 million on LinkedIn listed as the decision makers for their companies even. And the visit to lead rate conversion rate for LinkedIn is like more than 3.5 times higher than on Facebook if you're using that. But if you're using Twitter, I mean, I don't use Twitter. I've got an account, but I don't know. I lost my password. Can't get into it. But LinkedIn is something I look at every day. So what I want to talk about is how you can light up your LinkedIn and set up your profile. Like I said, that people go, oh, okay, it gets my attention. So number one, you know, right here, you've got to have, your profile pic. And then, I mean, and if you haven't done it before, I mean, you just go in there, you can add a photo, just go in and add it, have it be more of a professional type of pic, definitely not one of, like your Facebook pics holding a beer. I've had those, profile pics before. So when you want to have a professional appearance because you're a professional, put a professional picture up there. The next thing is, when you send a connection request, the things that they're going to see is your profile pic and your background pic next. Actually, almost kind of at the same time. So what you want to do is there's different ways. If you can see, I'm a game changer, right? And I'm working with athletes, but you're going to see that you want your picture to be kind of what you're about. Now, there's different ways to find pictures. I've noticed a lot of people don't do anything. They leave it blank and it's the LinkedIn just wavy background. Get away from that. Get away from that. That's the generic. Everybody else has that. Go find something that really fits you and your niche. And there's some different tools that you can go to. One of them is called unsplash.com. You can go on there and create the photo. That's what I use to create this. Or you can go to another one called Canva, CANVA.com. So you can create your own LinkedIn banner. I mean, they have it. So it says create a LinkedIn banner and you're able to do that. So I found this picture and then I was able to put the words on there and I did that with unsplash.com. I paid a little bit for it just because I wanted that particular picture, but it's very inexpensive. Now,
Cathy, I just put those links in the chat box.
oh, good, thank you.
One other that we use with producers. So as you're sharing information for those ladies that are listening, I will be adding those links and some other notes in the chat box. So be sure and grab those while they're there, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So now the third thing that they're going to notice when you send a connection request is, your about line. Okay, so you want to have a headline statement about yourself. And so whatever your title is, who you're with, but then you want to talk about what you do. So they're going to see your headshot, your background, and then your headline. And you want to say, I do this. So, who do you help? What do you help them do? And, maybe some like where, like you could say on LinkedIn or in financial services, or you can, do the who, what, when, where, why, but something short, succinct. They're going to look at it and go, okay. So right there, that's just the very beginning. Now, one of the other things right here, I think is really important. If you have your own company name, make sure your logo is there. You want to make sure that you're putting that in. That's part of in the entire setup of it. So you're able to go in, edit intro. As you can see, there's a lot of different areas where you can put your information in. Right here, create your own. I always recommend to people, create your own company page too, and then you have your logo. So people can go to Hall of Fame Financial and see that there's something else too. So if you have your personal, this is also right there. I just started it, but let me go back to me. Oops, to me here. There we go. So like I said, this is what people are going to see first. The view is a little bit different because I'm in my own account. Now, the
Kathy,
next thing,
hey,
yes.
Kathy, can you go back one page to where you were just looking at the basic LinkedIn homepage? Just in case somebody hasn't been to LinkedIn, I wanted them to see how they got
Oh, yes.
where you did. That might be helpful for somebody that's new to that. Yeah.
Yes. So that's when you go into your account, this is what you're going to see because it's, you know, it's not all about you. So it's you're able the people that you're connected to, you're going to be able to see, their different stories. Another thing that really brings attention to you as well is to go on and like and comment on different things because then it brings them up to you and they start seeing you interacting with them as well. And let me go back to me. Here we go. So now the next thing that I want you to take a look at is optimizing your about section, what you do and what you specialize in. So the one of the things that I think is really cool is like, what? Do people like to be right or do they like to be wrong? Well, we know they like to be right. And if you're a wife, you always are. Right, John? Um, so one of the things, if you look at my picture, you're like, okay, what do you think? I was like, okay, she's a game changer. Okay, what does that mean? I see sports, I see, football. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Let me look at her about section. Okay, so this is a different view. So when somebody's looking at my about section, okay, so I saw the football. Okay, recruiter, team builder, somebody with a uh, a whistle. So what does she do? So one of the things I've put in here is just some different things about me, but it kind of goes back into that picture that I have. So I'm a sales coach, I'm a trainer, speaker, recruiter. So having that part of it, make it a little bit creative, have the picture fit your about section and your passion, put your contact information, your email. One of the things I also really highly recommend, if you don't have it yet, create a calendar. I can't tell you how many people set up time on my calendar because they have questions and they want to find out, what they do and what we can do together. But with that being said, you can go into, let's see, why don't I, let's see, show you the experience. You want to put your experience too. So I first got on LinkedIn back in 2008, right? Like at the beginning of it. And it seemed kind of like it was just a big resume because it was an outplacement company. 2008, the carrier that I was working for uh, eliminated my position. And so the outplacement company helped me create my LinkedIn. So there's the different stuff that you put in there, like your about section. A lot of people just put their, like, what would be their resume. But you know what? You want to have your experience in there. So Hall of Fame Financial, I was with an FMO before, and that's when I first met Lynda and John. There's the carrier that I was with. I spent a year with managing health insurance agents. But you put some of your roles down there. So you have, what you've done. So people can say, okay, yeah, she knows what she's talking about. She's been in the industry for a minute since I was 5. So this is my current position, but go in there, put what you've done, highlight what you did, and it should not take you a long time at all. Just, what you've done, you put down there, what you do, what you did. And then another thing I found out just recently is look at here on the right, people you may know. Well, this is great to connect with people that are similar to you, But maybe you don't want, if other people go on your page, as people also viewed, they're looking for people that are similar to you. So maybe, go in and eliminate your competition. So you can remove that by going into your settings and privacy. Now, here's something else I want you to think about too with LinkedIn is people can see if you look at their profile, people can see, you know, what who your connections are. Now, if you're in a situation and you don't want other advisors looking at your clients or, getting like that, you're able to go in and control who can see what you've got going on in here. So visibility, I keep mine private. Sounds kind of stalkerish, but I just don't like people to know that I'm checking out what they're doing. But you can edit who can see it if you want to be available to the public or just to people that you're connected with. But in our business, we want to get in front of as many people as possible that want to work with us. So as you see, you go into the account preferences, your security. You can block people. For some reason, some people thought that this was a dating site. So I've blocked people from talking to me because I don't have time for that. But so you can see who can follow you. You can see if there's, people tagging you. There's a lot of different ways that you can get your information out. So see, there's LinkedIn, you guys. If you're not using it, look at how amazing this is. One of the things that I'll offer to everybody that's on here is I am happy to go through your LinkedIn with you. Let me know. You'll be able to connect with me if you haven't done it already. I'm definitely, John and I will talk about some different ways that we can do that. But if there was just like one thing that I want you to think of with LinkedIn, all of the people that are out there, all of them are consumers. All of them need something. All of them are providing something. All of them are looking for something. So put yourself out there and be a game changer. Okay. So now that you've got all this done, that's great, right? But now what? So, like I said, I've been on this thing since 2008, and I never really saw the full potential in it until the last couple, probably 3, maybe 4 years actually, because of the number of people that were getting on here. Like when I started, nobody really knew about it. And like I said, it was more of a recruiting tool. But you're able to see, like, look at they've looked at my profile, looked at the post that I just did, have come up on searches. But there's different things. You can feature some things. You want to put yourself out there though as an expert. But so what I noticed is look at there's people you want to be taking advantage of this. Now, when I started, I mean, it just started growing naturally. So I've got over 11,000 followers on here. So, oh, here's registration. Um, Putting things out that gets people's attention is going to make you more noticeable than the advisor down the street. Okay. But how do you do that? I mean, how can I go in here? Because now you know what you're going to connect with these people. Okay. So if I go on these, oh my gosh, I have, there's no way that I'm going to be able to go in and just send individual messages to all of these people. These are all my number one. These are people that are already familiar with me. But what I can do is also go on, look at, I've got people that are requesting to work with me, so you can go in and accept it. But okay, I am not going to go like this and find somebody, and I don't want to connect with him, but I'm going to withdraw it. But you can go in and send individual messages to people. I don't have time for that, and I know you don't either. But the one thing that I know in all of my years of working with agents, advisors, um, IMOs, everybody, we all want leads, and we want access to leads, and we want people that want to talk to us. And I'm of the ripe old age now of what, 30, because of my years in the industry. Um, I don't have time to talk to people that don't want to talk to me. I'm over it. So if I can show you a way to get with a system that'll help you grow the traffic and grow your leads on an automated way, in an automated way, that's what I want you to think of. Now you've got your LinkedIn, you've got set up, but now how are you going to turn it into a lead generator? So one of the tools that I've been using for the last 2 years has really just, I mean, helped me leaps and bounds. I know some of the people that are on here are familiar with the software, but I was lucky enough to beta test this program. And my friend called me and he said, Cathy, what do you think of this? If you could do this? And I went, that's amazing, Cody. Reaching out, I reach out to 100 people a day usually. I've slowed it down because I knew we had this coming up and people will book up my time if I don't have my calendar marked off correctly and you have different things. But this has been such a godsend. And I was one of the beta testers for this program, and it has literally made a difference, like amazing amounts. You're going to be blown away by this. Okay. So if you can get in front of all these people on LinkedIn, remember I said there's, so many of them, 40 million decision makers, right? You want to get to them. You want to get to these people that are consumers that need retirement products. Okay. So what I found out is you can make it smooth and automated. Now, I've been looking for people that want to work with Hall of Fame Financial and with Vision Advisors, by the way. But what I found, now you're seeing some numbers going down because, like I said, that I kind of shut things off, but I'm still getting requests and people accepting. Now, nothing is sent out this week, but or a little bit has. But look at 84% have accepted my request, which is nice without me even really doing anything. So what you want to do is think about your target market. Who is it that you want to get involved with? So when I beta tested this, I put my advisor hat on and I said, you know what? I want to work with retirees. So if I go to LinkedIn and I go in the search bar and I pull up retired, okay? I'm going to pull up under people. Let's do it that way. There's 6.5 million people that have themselves listed as retired. So who's a great candidate for an annuity? People that are approaching retirement or they are retired. So when I first tested this, I'm like, okay, let me see how this works. I pulled up people that I'm not connected with. And then I also went to Minnesota because that's where I'm at. So now I've got 3,200 people that are listed as retired in Minnesota on LinkedIn. You can do deeper dives. You can find people that are CEOs. You can do that. But, for this purpose, let's say I've got 3,200 people. Well, if you look right up here, this URL houses everybody that's on that list, because I'm not going to go in here and connect with everybody and, add a note and go, hey, Gary, I see you're retired. Now, again, that's 3,200. I still don't have time for that. But what I'm going to do is take this URL and I'm going to go into the software. And what I'm going to do is create a campaign, a sequence, so to say, and it's very easy. So I'm going to invite people to connect with me. So this is retired, and this is so easy. Trust me, I'm a IT person's job security. So if I can do this, anybody can. So retired Minnesota, I'm going to have it go these specific hours. Here's the URL, and you put that in there, enter it, and now what you're going to do is you're going to create your messaging. Okay, because now we know that there's 3,200 retired people in Minnesota that I want to reach out to. So you're able to call people by their first name. It's going to automatically go in there. That's what the software does. And you say, like, I came across your profile. I came across your profile. I noticed that you're retired. I would love to connect with you and grow my network, or just, something very non-invasive. And you create that. And that's the first message that's going to go out. That's what they're going to see. But what you want to do is set a follow-up message, because remember, you want to talk to people. Once they connect with you, thank you for connecting. And this is where I can't type today. I noticed you're in the Twin Cities and are retired. No, I just messed that up. But you just put in your call to action. I work with people like you. I don't know why I can't type. I work with people like you who are in the retirement world, and I would love to share with you this white paper, anything that gives them a call to action. And then what you do is you take I use Calendly. I don't know, John, if that's the one that everybody else uses, but Calendly is what you can take then, and you take your URL for that, you add it into the link, and then people are going to be able to use that, and they're going to be able to get on your schedule. And I'll tell you what, I'm able to get 3 to 4, sometimes I've had as many as 15 calls in a day for this. So it's just based on your sorry, somebody just came to my house. But you're able to get in front of people that want to talk to you. So whatever your messaging is, make it something that's value added, make it something that they want to see, invite them to a webinar, invite them to a seminar when things open back up again. But whatever your expertise is, that's where you're going to put that, is in your messaging. And then what we do is we hit submit. And so now what I can do is I can figure out how many people I want to send this out to. So let's say I want to send it out to 100, because that's a big group, right? And I can hit start. I'm not going to do that because I have all that gobbledygook in there. But let me tell you my results. So I did something that was that easy. And when I beta tested this, I had it for 9 days. And in just over 9 days, it reached out to 937 people, of which 238 people connected with me, of which 97 people started a conversation. So, and when I say that, that means when you look at the messaging, I'm going to give you an example. People that start a conversation with you. So here's like one of my messages that went out. As you can see, I've got a bunch that went out. Here's somebody that replied to me. I'm happy to connect. So you can see that it works. People are connecting. And it has been, like I said, a godsend, getting me in front of tons of people. So here's another one where somebody's replied. So it will automatically send out that other message. I'm going to show you. Came across your profile. So there's like the first one that went out. If you set it up, because like I said, I shut it down, but it will automatically send the second message with the call to action. Let me see. Got a lot of them I got to answer. A lot of these happy to connect. I'm just looking for my second message that goes out that's got my calendar. Here we go. So as you can see, here's somebody that's in retirement planning. Came across your profile, would love to connect with you. It looks like we share common interests and connections. Perhaps I can bring added value to you. So very non-spammy. This is a different client, but you could be looking for retired folks too. But then here it is. Thank you for connecting. I'd love the opportunity to get some time on the calendar, learn more about you and your business. And so then people get that, and then they see, there's my calendar. They click on it, and they're able to set up time with me for an introductory call. It's that simple. So when I'm showing you this, I mean, I have never in all of these years in our industry found something that is like, it's so easy to get in front of people on this. And oh yeah, cost wise, I mean, how many of you have done seminars where you've spent like $5,000, $6,000 and you're paying for, you're paying for the dinners and everything to have low attendance? I mean, you've seen it. I spoke to somebody earlier that had spent $41,000 for marketing last year and got zero. I don't know about you. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that happen. So let me show you a little bit more about this. So it's called Connected. You're able to see just even on this when people are sending the messages. So you can just use the software. I have it on my phone, so I can see when people reply to me. You can schedule tasks. You can pull up the different prospects. There's so many different tools to this, which I would love to show you more about. But here's where you're going to love it. So we look at the pricing. Since I started, I pay $85 a month. Now the price has gone up. Now it's cloud-based. When I started, it wasn't. But look at everything that you get. So I'm able to send out 100 invites a day to people to connect with me. Why do you think I have over 11,000 people? I didn't have that many when I started. I was probably more like 4,000. But this will give you the opportunity to get in front of people. Try it out. I always tell people start out low because I got inundated. It was crazy when I started. I couldn't keep up. 97 leads in 9 days. And that was crazy. But what you're able to do with this, as you can see, it's a monthly payment. There's no subscription. And then there's a one-time onboarding fee. And that is, where's the onboarding on this? That's $14.95 to get in there. Let's see. Onboarding. should be, well, let me do this, pay with card. No, I don't want to pay that. But it's $14.97. I don't know why I can't get the screen that shows the initial onboarding fee. Probably because I'm already paid. I'm guessing. But if you look at this, what I'm able to do is get you a discount. Definitely if we get you set up. But I'm going to open it up. I mean, that's LinkedIn, very high level, not so in depth, but I wanted you to see the opportunities that are out there with LinkedIn. John, do you have any questions?
So Cathy, I'm sitting here playing devil's advocate, thinking of some of the tools and resources we have at Vision, that if I'm doing an outreach to prospective retirees as a personal producer, and you happen
Yes.
to have one of our many done for you educational workshops that are already pre-recorded, pre-packaged, personalized for the producer, they could simply drop their personalized link to invite them to attend an online workshop where they have an opportunity to either hear the producer if they've pre-recorded the message themselves, or to hear me if they're using the version that I've put together, and have an
Yes.
opportunity to introduce them to an educational topic that may pique their interest.
Yes, completely. I mean, that's it's beautiful to be able to do that. You can get that out there. You can put that in your second message. I wanted to share this with you. You don't even have to say anything about them being retired. You don't, there's a lot of different ways just to message it. And that's one of the things that John does that's just amazing, is providing wording, scripts, webinars on demand. I mean, it's just so it makes me crazy sometimes how many things that you can get done with this. It's the sky's the limit. But it's I love it. I've had so much fun with it. The 2020 was a game changer. I know I keep saying that, but that was my life. I mean, game changer. I was sitting down on the top of a mountain in Kentucky taking care of my parents and needed to get working and talking to people. And this is what made the difference.
So if a producer has a newsletter that they offer, they have some other widget that they're using, or maybe they've got a lead funnel that they've developed, they could utilize that in that second message as well.
They sure can. And here's the nice thing too. You can do more than one message. You can you go to the template. Oops, that's not what I was looking for, but you can create templates. So you can, create messages and just copy and paste them all the time. But when you go into the sequences, you can have more than one message. Okay, now how do I get rid of this screen? Here we go.
So we could essentially use this software, Cathy, to create a series of automated responses
Mm-hmm.
that are going to this group of individuals that you're wanting to connect with,
Yes.
and continue to drip on them even after they've already connected.
Yes. Even after they've already connected.
So
So
in
you're
essence,
able to
this
go in.
becomes a supplement to Constant Contact or MailChimp or some other CRM system you're using to engage those customers and to warm them up for a seminar you're doing, a webinar you're doing, a live event you're doing, as you're prepping that message down the road.
Yes, yes, and yes. And another really great thing that this does is as soon as they connect with you, it captures all of their data. So when you are doing other types of drip marketing as well, because some people are going to respond to text, some people are going to respond to email, phone calls, but you have that information that you can put into your own CSV and add. I don't have that in there right now, but you can take that and drop it into your own CRM system as well. So it's got so many different tools that you can use. And what I love about having this dashboard with the different tasks on it, it shows you your results, because you know what, you really can't improve what you can't measure. So you're seeing the numbers right here, just the little bit that I did. Like I said, I had things shut down, but the responses are great. I mean, John, what's the average? Like, when you send out a mailer, what's the average response rate? 1%, 2%?
Yeah, you're going to get 1 to 2% on direct mail. If you send
Mm-hmm.
an email, you're going to get about a 10% open rate industry wide. And I was running some numbers when you said you sent out 937 messages, 238 connected. That's a
Yep.
25% response rate.
Yes.
And then out of the 238, 97%
97.
engaged in a conversation. That's a 41% conversion rate from those that connected, or a 10% conversion rate from the original 937. Those are still high quality numbers in terms of engagement that you're getting through a platform that you have an opportunity to control the message that's going out, and you can tweak and change that message at any point in time.
And they're people that want to talk to you. When they connect and they respond, responses received, that means that they replied to you. That's where it's like, oh, I'm happy to connect with you. And then you start, because our business, everybody, as we all know, is the relationships. This is the fastest way I've seen out there to get the relationships started. And then you invite, and then you engage, and then you go through your sales process. And I mean, being able to work these, and working with John, I got to tell you, he's able to help you through the process of getting these people to the yes, right? That's like Lynda said, you got to get through all the no's to gets you through the no's so much faster. So much faster.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, Cathy, if we're out here and we're using this tool to, I don't want to use the word stalking, but that's essentially what we're doing, is we're stalking for prospects. We've got suspects that are out there. There were 6.5 million retirees that are suspects that could potentially be a prospect, somebody that is interested in what we're doing. And then if we can move them down to the lead category, where they raise their hand and say, hey, I want to have a conversation with you about this, I'm interested. This is a very unique tool that lets you automate a lot of that, and it can supplement whatever else you're doing in your practice, because this runs in the background and you don't have to do anything once it's set up other than monitor the results, correct?
That is correct. It it's just automated lead gen on steroids. It's absolutely crazy. And I apologize. My dog just got a hold of a toy. If you hear squeaking, he decided to just wake up. One of the things I want to offer to everybody is literally, get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to, tell you more about this, answer questions. I know, do we have any questions on this right now, John?
I don't have anything in the chat right now, but if any of you ladies that are watching have any questions of Cathy related to your LinkedIn profile or the software tool that she shared with us today, if you want to drop those in the chat box, we'll be happy to answer those.
And also, we have special deals. Like I said, it's $14.97 to get onboarded. And you know what? Here, look at what happens when you get onboarded. When you've done different, like you do the Facebook marketing and everything. Look at this. This also has additional training, Connected Network. Okay. They've got their website. So you can learn so much more about LinkedIn, about how to use it. That's included in the price. But then also another thing that because get this, when I beta tested this, there was just a couple hundred of us using it. This went from 5 founders to now 107 employees in Indianapolis. And they got, in just a little under 2 years, over 15,000 users. And when you consider the millions of people that are on this, and everybody with their different businesses, this is just a big blue ocean. But they've got messaging scripts, they've got lifetime customer service. So $14.97, and then you get the different amounts, is the pricing again.
So Cathy, when they pay the onboarding fee, what do they get for the onboarding fee?
Let me find that. Where's the go?
And if not, if you want to just describe what they get, that's fine as
Yeah,
well.
so with the onboarding, I mean, they're going to be shown how to get it set up, obviously. They're going to be
And they're actually going to be working with a live person, correct?
You're going to be working with a
It's
live
not just a
person.
video that you got to go watch and figure it out yourself.
Exactly. They're going to get you onboarded. They're going to look at your LinkedIn profile with you and help you maximize it. And there is a page, and I'm sure it's just because I'm in my system, I'm guessing, because there's a page that'll show you the onboarding that you're able to get the lifetime customer service, like I said, but the onboarding is so nice, in depth. They're there to answer your questions. They'll show you how to, integrate, with whatever CRM you're using. I mean, they'll get you all good to go. I
So
mean,
they'll
and
plug all the
seriously,
pieces together so that it's working.
yes. I
And
mean,
you're getting
seriously,
coaching on your LinkedIn
mhm,
profile at the same time.
exactly. And I mean, you'll start getting connections like right away. Once you turn it on, it goes.
Perfect. Well, Cathy, it doesn't look like we have any more questions at this time. So I want to say thank you for a very informative afternoon of walking us through.
Oh my
If I
God,
think
you're
through
so
one of
welcome.
the things that you said, Cathy, very on in your conversation in 1999, when you got into this industry, you realized you didn't know what you didn't know.
No,
And the lack of education that we see even today in our industry of what the financial products and services that we offer our clients can do is significantly underrepresented in what many financial professionals are doing for their customer. So the
exactly.
opportunity to come in and provide that education, not only is it important, it is needed. I shared with our team yesterday a study that was done by the Boston College Center for Financial Research and our Center for Retirement Research. And it was talking about the use of annuities in the marketplace. And one of the major detriments they found to individuals and families purchasing annuities was a lack of education. They didn't understand what annuities were. They didn't understand how they worked. They were acting on either incorrect, incomplete, or bad information that formed a bias that may have been totally wrong. But because they didn't understand and they didn't know what they didn't know, they were walking away from an opportunity that could literally guarantee a paycheck in retirement for the rest of their life. How many other times do
Right.
we see that in the industry that that's not happening?
Scary stuff. People don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. So if you
And
think
then
about what
they
we've,
kick themselves afterwards. And shame on
you're
anybody out
absolutely right.
there. I was a transaction. I was a transaction to that agent. He should have checked on me. Every time I had a child, I could have increased my life insurance. I didn't know. I was so mad. Educate. You
You
got
know,
to know about it.
and it goes back, Cathy, to one of the things that we teach here at Vision Advisors in our attractional advisor model is we walk through the various aspects of the sales cycle. We spend a significant amount of time as financial professionals trying to generate, like with this tool that you showed us here, a new
Mhm.
customer. But once we get a customer to raise their hand and
What's
they say,
next?
yes, I want to buy from you, here's what we know. Over 80% of the time, that financial advisor will never follow back up with that customer again. They are a transaction and nothing more.
Yes.
Yet for the producers, and this is something we know about what we've done in our studies of the top 5% of the most successful sales professionals in our business, and we teach those selling secrets to our producers that want to learn those, is that third element of replication and cultivation of that relationship opens up the opportunity for new sales. Because as an expert in behavioral intelligence, I've spent a lot of time studying this subject. We know that anytime somebody solves a problem in their brain, the brain immediately goes to, what's the next problem I need to solve?
Yep.
Well, if you could solve that problem, and number one, they don't know you can do it. And number two, you never follow back up with them. Guess who's going to solve that problem? Somebody other than you.
Yeah.
So learning that third element is so important, because that third element of building that relationship, if done properly, creates that fourth element of the sales cycle, which turns your customers into raving fans that become your billboards that bring the new customers to you that are already pre-qualified. That's one of the powerful things that we can help do. And this is a unique tool that we can use to help start that process down the road. So thanks for sharing it,
Definitely.
Cathy. Yep.
You're very welcome. Yes, and definitely get a hold of us.
Absolutely. So Cathy, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Lynda as I get ready to wrap up your session. Having been in the financial services industry in a variety of settings, working in the home office, working with an IMO, working as an independent producer, and now as a recruiter and trainer, if you could look back to an earlier version of yourself as a personal producer, and you could go back and give your younger self some wisdom from the ages that would have helped you get to where you are today much faster, what would that piece of advice be?
You know what? That I didn't, I should have known you were going to ask me that same thing. You know what? It would be persevere, keep going. Don't worry about the no's. Just, do what you want to do every day. And make sure that when you lay your head down at night, you know that you made a difference. Because you know what? When your passion is your purpose and your purpose is your passion, it all starts to work out for you. And that's
Absolutely.
literally, if helping people, if that's what you want to do and you help them, it takes care of you as well as them.
Yep. If you love what you do, you don't work a single day in your life.
That's right.
And I think the ladies that are on this summit with us love what they do. And I
Mm-hmm.
hope through what they've learned over the last 4 days and what they're going to learn from Patricia tomorrow. Oh my goodness. You've got to get people to come and hear tomorrow. Do not miss it. Patricia is going to close us out with a bang as she has an opportunity to share a very powerful story of how she went from being a mom on welfare to being a wealth advisor and really changing the face of how we do financial services. You are not going to want to miss this tomorrow. So please don't miss that. So again, on behalf of all of us here at Vision Advisors, I want to say thank you. My gift to you today that I'm going to be sending out is we've spent a lot of time talking about social media, marketing, LinkedIn, and different ways to leverage digital marketing as a part of what you're doing. So my complimentary thank you gift for being part of our summit over the last 4 days is I'm going to be sending out a complimentary teaching I did just a couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago on improving your social media presence and responses on social media. That video training will be going out around 3 p.m. Central today. It'll be coming in your inbox. And I'll also be sharing the video recordings of day 3, so that you'll have an opportunity to re-listen to what you heard in day 3, or if you missed it, it'll be your opportunity to do that. And then tomorrow we'll be sharing session 4 so that you'll have an opportunity to catch that replay as well. Cathy, any parting words before we sign off today?
You know what, ladies? I'm just so excited. And John, thank you for putting this together. Like, you know what? An idea and you implemented it. And it's just been wonderful. And I feel really blessed to know everybody on here and to get to know more people.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And
Thank
if
you
you've
so
got
much.
questions about Connected, you can reach out to Cathy at halloffamefinancial.com. And also, Cathy made a free offer that if you want to schedule some time with her on her calendar, Cathy, if you'll drop your calendar in the chat box real quick for us, then what I'd love for you to do is any of the ladies that want to connect with you to get a complimentary review of their LinkedIn profile, please schedule some time with Cathy to do that. That is her free gift to you for being a part of this summit. And I know she will do a phenomenal job in helping you liven up your LinkedIn so that you can get better results. There, it's in the chat box. I saw it just pop up. So ladies, make sure before you sign off, I'll leave the chat box up for just a few minutes after we sign off today to give you time to scroll through there and click on the links, because when we shut the video down, the chat box goes away. I'm going to leave that up for just a few minutes to give you an opportunity to grab those links in your inbox. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great rest of today.
Thank you.